military background, one of the questions was, do you feel your background provided specific strengths as you continue today in your career? And if, and I'm going to pause there, then I have another question right behind that.
Okay. I definitely think that it helped prepare me. I caution people who go in today, young individuals, people who are a little younger than I am. I'm getting up there now. But one of the things I told them is you must understand, this is vitally important, you must understand that when you're transitioning from the military is just different. We do things different. You can have a job in the military that does not equate to something on the outside. So all throughout your career, you are thinking about, okay, how do this equate on the outside? I got some friends of mine, their job in the military was to load bombs on planes.
Okay.
Now, if you're loading a bomb or a missile on a plane, how can you get a job on the outside when you go to jail for putting a bomb on a plane on the outside? So, you have to think, how can I write this, what I do, to make it equate to the outside? Now, my military skills as far as leadership, that multitasking, and in the military, we do so much that sometimes we forget how much we do. Multitasking. I was an NCO IC of IT for a network warfare flight, but within that, I'm managing several people. I'm doing project management. I'm doing leading PT. I'm doing all of these things that can equate to jobs on the outside, but you have to shift your thinking into thinking, okay, how can I communicate this to someone who never even been in the military, never been around the military? I have to communicate that. I know that what I've been through in the military prepared me, but the most important thing is communicating that to somebody on the outside.
No, that's perfect. And I like that that insight that you knew as you were transitioning, the need to be able to translate your skills from the military over to civilian life, as you mentioned. So I'm going to talk about your key career transitions as you look through your career, and I've seen you've changed different roles, different assignments. What are the key 1 or 2 career changes that you made, and what made those most valuable to you?
I think the first thing I was just, as I was getting out, like I said, I never wanted to go back to DOD. So I think a mistake that a lot of people make is they get tunnel vision. They think, I know DOD is safe, let me try to get a job back in DOD. Well, there's only so many jobs that DOD have. So what I did, I expanded my net. I threw my net farther out. I was willing to take a contract job. I was willing to work in other government sectors. I was willing to go in the private sector. And I did all that. I worked in corporate America. My first job was with Booz Allen Hamilton, and it was a contract job where I did security assessments for the IRS systems. Booz Allen Hamilton had that contract. Well, the contract ran out, so I had to pivot. When that's the thing about working contract, that sometimes those contract end and they do not renew you for a contract, so you have to pivot. So then I went to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and when I got the Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's corporate. So now I'm working in a corporate environment, and then I transitioned back to contracting, and then I said, and that contract ran out. So I had to pivot again. Then I said, well, I want something now where I can just stay, get a retirement possibly, and don't want to keep changing as I'm getting older. So I decided to go back government, and now I'm working for the state. So I said, I'm gonna go in government, and I'm just gonna move up in the state.
No, that's great. I like the examples you shared too. And a word that you've used more than once is being okay with pivoting. And
Mhm.
sometimes life causes us to have to do that, depending on your jobs.
Yeah, and let me say this: you have to be prepared to pivot too. Um, the worst thing to happen is to have to pivot and not and be unprepared. Because one thing I did when I started working those contract jobs is when I got hired, I inquired about how long is the contract. Is the contract for you got 3 years left on the contract? Do you have 5 years left on the contract? What have you? So if I'm taking a job, you only got 3 years left on the contract. Guess what? 2.5 years. I got my eyes and ears open because in case this contract end, I want to be able to successfully pivot to the next step of my career.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So that was the final question that I had. And I wanted to give time to you to see what else would you like to share with us about career transitions that we did not cover today, but you feel, you definitely want us to be aware of.
I'll just stay in the line of the military because that's what I know. I would say this to anybody joining the military: um, always be prepared to transition. One of the things that this lady um, told me a long time ago, she said one of the beatitudes that's not written in the Bible is blessed are the flexible, for they should not be moved. And I kind of carry that with my life to always be flexible. And as far as the military is concerned, when you go in, start preparing then when you're going to get out. Like I said, I made some mistakes along the way. I'll share one of them. I got a job for Booz Allen Hamilton, and they saw my leadership skills, so they put me as the assistant manager. Yeah, I am the assistant manager, and when they asked me, the one thing I did not research was salaries. So when they asked me, they asked me what would it take to become a part of the Booz Allen team. So I just threw a number across the table, and they said, "Okay, we'll get back with you," and everything like that. They hired me at that salary, promoted me to assistant manager, and when I got promoted to assistant manager, I saw the salaries and realized that I had 25 years experience on some people making $8,000 to $10,000 less than them. So that was a huge mistake I made. And I learned from that mistake, like, no, I got this. Not only do I check the market for um, how much, I mean, not only do I check the market for what you're looking for to hire me, I'm also checking the market to see how much I'm worth.
Absolutely.
5 to 6 years working 10, you're $50,000 in the hole 5, 10 years of your counterpart. So I've learned that. So I would say always continue to learn, always be open to learning, always be open to growing, and always be open to figuring out how your job can transition to civilian job. I'll go back to the person loading the bomb. You can say something like, I track hazardous inventory, because there are people out there looking for somebody to do inventory. I track hazardous inventory without any safety violations. You got to learn how your military job is going to translate to the civilian world.
Oh, that's perfect. So we definitely thank you for joining us. You bring a wealth of experience with you and your different transitions and your successful transition from the military to civilian and then back to the government, like, as you said, with your current job. So we look forward to staying connected with you and thank you again for all your great insights.
Thank you once again for having me. I appreciate the time. Thank you.